Good morning and welcome back to 10-Minute English Cafe. It is Friday, June 26th, 2026.
Friday already feels like someone opened a window in the week.
I like that. I was doodling on a napkin this morning, just drawing little lines while waiting for coffee.
That is such a Friday brain thing. Not working, not resting, just making tiny circles.
Exactly. Today's keyword is draw, spelled D-R-A-W.
Nice! That word already feels flexible.
It can mean to make a picture with a pen, but it can also mean to pull people, attention, money, or demand towards something.
So a movie can draw a crowd, and a cute animal can draw every phone camera in the room.
Perfect. Today we start with Toy Story 5, which drew a huge movie audience.
Nostalgia plus popcorn is a powerful combination.
Then we look at how AI demand is drawing memory and storage chips away from everyday consumer tech.
That one sounds invisible until the price tag shows up.
And finally, we meet Brötchen, a baby pygmy hippo at Berlin Zoo who is drawing a lot of attention.
A baby hippo named after a bread roll. I am already emotionally available.
Before we begin, if you're new here, we turn real news into natural English conversation every day,
with useful words that you can actually use after the episode.
If that helps your listening practice, please subscribe and join us for 10 minutes.
Let's see what draws us in today.
We begin at the box office.
Bring on the popcorn numbers.
AP reported that Toy Story 5 opened with $160 million in North America.
That is not just a good weekend. That is a whole theater lobby cheering.
It also made $152 million internationally for a worldwide opening of $312 million.
Wow, the toys did not quietly come back, they marched back in.
Exactly. AP called it the biggest box office debut of the year so far.
Debut is useful here. It means the first public opening, right?
Yes, in movie news, a debut is the first weekend or first release period.
So the first impression was very loud. It was also a franchise best opening, meaning the strongest start in the Toy Story series. That is impressive for a series people have known for decades.
That is the key conversation point. A familiar story can still draw people back when it feels meaningful.
I think some movies carry childhood in their backpack.
Nice image. The article also says the movie cost about $250 million to produce. Big budget, big expectation, big opening. Right. But for English learners, the useful phrase is draw an audience.
Like, the concert drew a huge audience.
Exactly. It means people came because something attracted them.
And this story is not only about toys, it's about what pulls people out of the house.
Yes, streaming is easy, but a shared movie event can still feel special.
Especially when everyone already has an emotional history with the characters.
So topic 1 gives us the first meaning of draw today. A story can draw a crowd.
I'm officially drawn in.
Now let's move from movie screens to the tiny parts inside our devices.
Smaller objects, bigger headache.
WSJ reported that AI demand is pushing up prices for memory and storage chips.
That sounds technical, but I can already feel my wallet getting nervous.
Fair reaction. These are the chips that help devices remember data and store files.
So not just fancy AI machines. Regular phones and game consoles need them too.
Exactly. The report says the pressure is starting to affect consumer devices.
That makes AI feel less distant. It's suddenly sitting inside the shopping cart.
A useful phrase here is pressure pressing. It means forces that push prices up or down.
In this case, up.
Yes, AI companies need enormous amounts of memory and storage for data centers.
And that demand draws chips towards the AI side.
Right. When supply is limited, consumer electronics companies can get squeezed.
Squeezed is such a good word. It sounds exactly like being stuck between AI demand and customer prices.
That's the idea. Companies may face higher costs for parts they need.
Then they have uncomfortable choices: raise prices, reduce features, or accept lower margins.
Exactly. We should be careful not to say every device will immediately become expensive.
Good guardrail. This is pressure, not a magic price button.
But it's a clear everyday angle. AI demand can draw resources away from familiar products.
The hidden supply chain suddenly becomes very personal.
For learners, listen for demand, shortage, supply, and consumer devices.
Those words show up whenever big technology meets everyday life.
So, Topic 2 gives us a second meaning of draw. Demand can draw limited resources in one direction.
And sometimes the rest of us notice at the checkout page.
Now, let's end with a much softer kind of attention.
Please tell me this one has a tiny face.
People reported on a baby pygmy hippo at Berlin Zoo named Brötchen.
That name already sounds round.
It fits. Brötchen means bread roll in German.
A baby hippo named Bread Roll. That is dangerously charming.
She was born on May 9th, and reports say she now weighs around 44 to 45 pounds. Small for a hippo, huge for anything called a bread roll. Exactly. She has become a new little celebrity at the zoo. I can imagine people walking in and saying, "We are here for the roll." The name is funny, but the conservation angle matters too.
Right, because pygmy hippos are endangered.
Yes, reports cite fewer than 2,500 adults left in the wild.
That changes the feeling. The cute story opens the door to a serious one.
That is why it works for today's keyword. Brötchen draws attention first through charm.
And then that attention can point people toward the species.
Exactly. English learners can use the phrase named after here.
Like, she was named after a bread roll.
Yes, it means the name comes from another person, place, object, or idea.
I like that. It's simple and useful.
Another phrase is draw attention. It means to make people notice something.
This tiny animal is doing public relations better than most adults.
In a gentle way, yes. A memorable name can help a conservation story travel farther.
Sometimes the doorway into learning is just a round baby hippo.
And that gives us our third meaning of draw. A small story can draw big attention.
I came for the name and stayed for the animal facts.
Today's keyword was draw,
and it moved through 3 very different worlds.
At the movies, Toy Story 5 drew a huge audience with a record opening weekend.
Nostalgia pulled people toward the theater.
In technology, AI demand drew memory and storage chips toward data centers.
And that pressure may reach phones, games, and everyday devices.
At Berlin Zoo, Brötchen drew attention with a sweet name and an endangered species story behind it.
The cutest headline had a real message inside.
So here's today's question. Which story drew your attention the most?
Option A is the record-breaking movie debut.
Option B is the AI chip price pressure.
Option C is Brötchen, the baby pygmy hippo.
Tell us in the comments. Take today's word with you. To draw is not only to make a line on paper, it can mean to pull people, demand, money, or attention towards something.
I think C drew my heart, A drew my nostalgia, and B drew my budget anxiety.
That is a very honest Friday summary. If this conversation helped your English, please like, subscribe, and come back tomorrow.
Have a good weekend and see you tomorrow.